Hi, Melanie here, and today I'm showing you how to make a fabulous Frankenstein balloon monster decoration that's perfect for Halloween and is quick and easy to make. For the Frankenstein monster's body, I'm inflating 4 5-inch balloons to 4.5 inches, and that's approximately 4 strokes of the Qualitex hand pump. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remove the pump straight away, otherwise your balloon will deflate because you will lose air through the body of the pump. Okay, tie the 2 balloons together, so wrap the necks over one another, wrap around once, twice, and then tie. Okay, and make another one of these. Connect your balloons together at the centre just by crossing them over one another. I've inflated both these clusters to 4.5 inches. Connect the clusters at the centre, so just take one of the necks from the black cluster, pull that upwards, and then take your next cluster, place it on top, pull the neck through and wrap that around. And I kind of snake that neck around the balloons, okay, and just weave it through. So that's connected those 2 clusters together, and it's important that the balloons in the upper cluster sit between 2 balloons in the lower cluster. Next, I've got a sand weight, and I'm just going to connect this at the base, so just pull it through into the base and then take that neck up into the lilac cluster and just wrap that neck around those balloons. Okay, and if you want to know how to make sand weights or water weights, a water weight would do just as well. I'll leave links to my tutorials in the description below. Next, I'm using a 260 twisting balloon, and I'm going to attach this to the base just by wrapping it into the balloons at the base. Okay, and if you haven't got a 260 twisting balloon, you could use a bit of curling ribbon. I've got my next cluster inflated to 4.5 inches, and I'm just going to place that on the top and then use this twisting balloon to just connect the next cluster. I've now got a cluster sized to 4.5 inches, and just one of the balloons is green, and I'm going to connect this in the same way. Now connect your green cluster, again inflated to 4.5 inches. And another green cluster, also inflated to 4.5 inches. I'm inflating these black balloons to 3.5 inches, so 2 strokes of the Qualitex hand pump. And my next pair, I'm inflating 1 balloon to 3.5 inches with 2 strokes, and 1 balloon with just 1 stroke to 3 inches in diameter. Connect your pairs together at the centre, and then just attach these to the top. And then the smaller of this cluster goes on top, like so. For the arms, I'm using a 350 twisting balloon, but you could just as easily use a 260, so just use whatever you've got. And I've inflated with 4 strokes of the hand pump. Tie. And then I'm just going to put a twist in the neck here, snip off the end, and tie here. So you've made a bubble that is about 6 inches long. Inflate a green 5-inch balloon with just 1 stroke of the hand pump and tie. And we're going to tie a soft knot. And by that, I mean don't pull the knot tightly, okay? And at this point, I'm just taking hold of that knot and I'm just going to roll it along the neck of the balloon, okay? So it's just moving up towards the nozzle. And when we've done that, we can squeeze some of the air into the neck of the balloon and just twist a small bubble, which we can then pinch twist. So grab hold of that knot there, fold the balloon over and just twist. Okay, so we've made a small hand, and you may just need to massage that balloon just to bring out the shine. And then we can just wrap the knot from our 350 into the hand there. And make another one of these. And then we can just tie these arms together here. We can take our arms and just wrap them into the body. If they feel a little bit loose, you can just wrap around once more. Okay, however many times you need to just take up the slack. And then we can give those arms a little whittle, and that's just going to give them a gentle curve, just to give them a bit of shaping. I've inflated a 160 twisting balloon to a tail of one finger, and I've left a stretchy bit at this end here. Okay, and if you don't have a 160, then use a 260 instead if that's what you've got. Okay, and I'm just going to make some loops, so it doesn't really matter what size they are. That's about 5 fingers, and I'm just going to make a few loops. Really not worrying too much about the size. I think I'll go for 3 loops. Wrap those around, and then I can snip off the end and just tie. Okay, and then we can just massage these at the end just to make them a little bit more pointed. You're just using the warmth of your hands to shape the balloon, so you can see the difference when you compare the shape of this loop to this one, which I haven't yet shaped. So it's just one of those small details that can make a big difference to your sculptures. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this stretcher bit here and pull the fringe into this cluster here, and I'm just going to wrap the tail of that 160 around. Okay, and let's have a look. For the eyes, I'm using a 5-inch eye print balloon, but if you don't have one of these, just use a white 5-inch balloon and you can draw the eye on with a Sharpie. Okay, so I'm using a 260 twisting balloon, and I'm just going to tie that directly into the knot there. So just connect your 260 to the eyeball. And the great thing about these eyeballs, and you can also do this with the eyes that you draw yourself, you can determine how large you want the eye to be just by stretching the eye out. Okay, which is quite a lot of fun. If you decide it's a little bit too big, you can just massage it to a degree to make it a little bit smaller. You can't get it really small, but you can just adjust the eyes slightly. And I do like using these eyeball prints for this design because it just gives the character a little more of a wild look. But you can achieve that just as easily by drawing your own eyeballs on white 5-inch balloons. And it's a much cheaper and much more affordable option for you. So we've got 2 eyeballs, and don't worry if the eyeballs aren't exactly the same size. It kind of adds to the character somewhat. And then use your 260 to pull the eyeballs into the sculpture here, and then just take the tails and wrap them into the balloons at the back. Do the same with the other one. I'm just pulling that through. So above this green balloon, and then just wrapping the tails around some of the green balloons at the back. And then you can just let that go. And then I'm inflating a green balloon with 2 strokes of the hand pump and doing the same thing, just tying that into another 260. I'm just going to trim off the end because I don't need it all. And then I'm just going to position this below the eyes. Okay. and wrapping into the back of the head. For the neck bolts, I've inflated a silver 160 to a long tail of about 10 fingers. If you don't have a 160, then use a 260 instead. I'm a big believer in using whatever balloons you have available, okay? And make a small loop. So I've just folded that over. I've pinched hold of that knot there, and I'm making a very small loop of maybe just a couple of fingers. So give that a twist. If you can, poke your finger through the centre and then just pass that knot and nozzle through. That's going to help ensure that doesn't come undone. And we're going to make another loop in the same way. So just fold the balloon over, measure, and it doesn't matter if these if these loops aren't exactly the same size. Close is good enough. Make a twist, and I'm just going to wrap that neck and nozzle around a little bit more. Okay, and we're going to make one more loop. So just folding your balloon over, measure 2 fingers, make a twist, and then I like to check, and then twist some more and wrap the 3 loops around one another. So this is what you've got, okay? And then you've got a bubble here of about 6 inches or so. And then make a twist here, and we can just snip off the end and tie. And make another one of these. And then we can tie our 2 neck bolts together. And I'm just going to tie a second time. And then pull those tight, and we can snip off the excess here. And then we can attach our neck bolts just between the lilac and green sections, okay? So just pull them in and then swap them around one another at the front. Don't worry if everything moves around, okay? And then pull them back in at the sides here. Let's take a look. So you may need to take up some of the slack just by wrapping the neck bolts around again. Okay, so this is what we've got at the moment. I've inflated a 160 black balloon to a 5-finger tail, and if you don't have a 160 black, then use a 260 or a different colour, okay? And I'm going to make a bubble of about 5 fingers, okay? So make a twist and then make another bubble to match this one, very approximately. But they don't have to be perfectly the same size, but it's important when you're making these bubbles that you hang on. It's important that you hang on to the first bubble and the last bubble, otherwise they will unravel, okay? And we're going to make 2 more bubbles to match these. So give your balloon a little squeeze just to soften it and make a twist. Okay, so you'll see I'm hanging on to both ends, and then we want one more. Give your balloon a little squeeze to soften. Okay, so we've got 4 bubbles, and then I'm going to connect the knot and nozzle here and just wrap that around and pass it through the centre. And at this point we can let go because those bubbles are not going to come undone. Now I want to make another bubble the same size, okay, followed by another 5-finger bubble. And again, I'm just squeezing the balloon to keep it soft. Just measuring, that's a little large. Okay, so I've got 2 bubbles here, and I'm going to bring them up to the side here, out to the side. So I'm just connecting them here, and if you want to be on the safe side, you can bring this through. That's just going to make sure they don't come undone, okay? And then I want to make 2 more 5-finger bubbles. So we'll just measure, and this is the last one, okay? And then I'm going to bring this down back to the centre here and just wrap this through. Okay, so this is what you've got. And then I'm going to make a small bubble of a couple of fingers, which I'm going to pinch twist. So just grab hold of this bubble, pull it upwards and twist it around. Okay. And then I'm going to make another small bubble of the same, approximately the same size. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing. Okay, so pull it upwards and twist it around. Okay, just wrapping the base of this excess through, and then I can snip off the end and tie. Okay, so this is what you've got. Next, I'm fully inflating a diamond clear balloon, okay? And mine just happens to have little stars printed on, but you don't need to use one of these. You can just use a clear balloon and then just let it down slightly, because we want to push it into the center of our lantern. I'm now going to tie that off and then just push that into the center and bring the neck and nozzle up and wrap it into the pinch twists. You can just secure that there. Okay, and then just adjust the lantern. So this is what you've got. So just using this little bit of excess, connect the lantern to your monster's hand. Just wrap that in and around that pinch twist. Okay, and that's just going to hang there and light his way. And I'm going to use a black chisel tip Sharpie just to draw some of his features.